information, news, and entertainment on demand.
Welcome to Home and Heart Radio with Mary Goulet, presented by VinVillage.com.
Welcome to the program. Yes, Mary Goulet, your host of Home and Heart. And today we have a very interesting interview. I have two guests, Ron Carter and Renee Kube. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
It's Kube.
Kube. Thank you.
Kube. Yeah, Renee Kube.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to be talking about Children Incorporated. And I was reading through the bios that were sent over to me and about the organization as a whole. And Renee, you've been there 33 years?
I have.
Wow, that's dedication. To find out at a young age that that's something that you wanted to do. It's not just a job, it's like a vocation, a life's calling.
It definitely felt like a calling. I felt like I had found my perfect match.
Wow. Okay, so take me back a little bit, because I know we have a connection through Dr. Richard Carlson, who wrote of many books, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And he made mention of Children Incorporated. How did that springboard you guys?
I'll tell you, Dr. Carlson, it was just one page in the book, and it was really incredible. We have, over the years, as a result of that one mention in his book, we've probably gotten thousands of sponsors who've come to our organization. I can't even tell you how much it's affected us. And his wife, Christine, I'm sure you probably heard, Christine is continuing to promote our work through her books and through her website that she has that's active.
Yes, I had interviewed Christine on another program here at the studio. She's a terrific gal.
Yeah, she's incredible.
So there's a 20th anniversary and republication of the book, so you're mentioned again in bringing more to the spotlight?
Well, actually what Christine did, the book went to press before she and I had talked. So it's the same mention in the book that was in there the first time, but Christine made a commitment to us that through her work and through her, anytime she's interviewed on her website, through her blog, she is actually promoting the work of Children Incorporated this year, and she's trying to help us achieve a goal of 2,000 additional sponsors as a result of Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. Another thing she did, I'll mention, is she also gave a contribution in Dr. Carlson's memory to help continue our work. So she's just been incredible. We can't thank her enough.
Wow, that's terrific. So let's go back to Children Incorporated. And what was the genesis of that program? Like what?
The genesis of the Children Incorporated program?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'll let Renee tell you a little bit about that.
Our founder, Jean Clark Wood, was the daughter of noted philanthropists, and her father had been a Presbyterian minister and had done lots of work for various nonprofit organizations, one of which he founded. And after their retirement, Mrs. Wood wanted to continue their legacy, and so she wrote to friends and family and solicited financial contributions for an orphanage in Guatemala. And she went to Guatemala and was able to match 94 impoverished children with sponsors here in the States who believed in them and wanted them to have a happier, more secure future in life. And that was the genesis of Children Incorporated. So from that one orphanage in Guatemala, it grew, and now we're in 23 countries around the world and have a wonderful impact. Even though we've stayed a very small and lean organization here at the headquarters office, our reach is very big indeed.
And you also have a U.S. presence as well, correct? In 12 states or more?
We have about half of our work is international and about half of our work is in the United States.
So what is the biggest struggle? Because in my mind, I support a homeless teen drop-in center in San Diego. And sometimes it feels like you're just throwing pebbles in the ocean. Even if you load up, you know what I mean? Get donations of backpacks and socks and coats, and I take it and I drop it off, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't seem like very much. So
It is, but it's amazing the impact that can make on a child's life when that child's future and their present is so very, very insecure, and they don't know if they'll have the tools they need to succeed in school. They want to fit in with the other kids. They want to be like the other kids. So what can seem small to us and really not that much of a sacrifice to give for us has an incredible impact on that young person, on that child. Here in the U.S., what we do a lot of is partner with public schools, and so our sponsor support generally goes to helping these kids with things like school clothes, weather-appropriate attire, a nice warm winter coat, shoes, those backpacks, the school supplies, hygiene items, things like that help them really stay in school and feel confident and successful, and then that hope that they have from knowing that there's a special friend out there who believes in them and cares about them, and the impact that a caring adult can make on a child's life is incredible.
Yeah, we see it on a smaller scale with the teens, but it does make a difference because they end up getting their diploma and getting out into their own housing and getting a job. It just seems so daunting on a global scale. So you guys have been so successful. Yes.
I was going to say that one of my favorite sayings is, changing the world one child at a time. And, you said a few minutes ago that it's really daunting to do something, and you just see the incredible and immense amount of need that's out there. But if you affect one child's life, and that child affects another person's life, and it becomes a ripple effect. So if we can begin to help one child at a time, it can spread. And, I think that's what's made our program such a success over the years. Some of the project sites where we work, we only have a few children that we support. But over the years, those numbers mount up. And, we like to think that we're giving these children hope and opportunity they otherwise wouldn't have.
So what are the fundamental services, like on a daily basis? You go into the office on a Monday. Is your goal to try and increase the donor base and is that a money contribution that you hope to secure annually or to be able to buy products for the kids? And I'm trying to get my brain around how that looks.
For instance, the sponsorship program is one where the donor commits to a certain amount of support every month for that student or that child to whom they can then write, send packages, correspond, and other folks prefer to help with larger scale projects that impact a great number of children, such as a mosquito net program or an after-school feeding program or tutoring program. So, when we come into the office on a daily basis, it's a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of reaching out to our donor base, answering their questions, giving them the information they need to stay more informed and to feel more connected to the children that they're assisting. And then it's also on the program side, reaching out to the folks in the field who volunteer to help these kids. So at each site where we partner, there is at least one individual who is amazing and who has stepped up and said, yes, I'll administer the assistance, make sure the kids get what they need, and give you all the reporting that you need so that you can tell your donors and be transparent and celebrate what we've been able to do for the kids. And then you hear some of the kids' stories from those coordinators about the impact that our sponsors and donors have had on their lives. And it's just a great way to get up and come to work every day, and you go home at night and really feel like you've helped change the world a little bit.
So in the U.S., is it orphanages or is it what's the profile of the child and what is the age range?
In the United States, yeah, absolutely. In the United States, we partner primarily with the public school systems. So there is a volunteer at each site, whether it is a school social worker or counselor, maybe it's a couple of teacher's aides, maybe it's an assistant principal and the first grade teacher, but whoever it is, they have banded together and they receive the support that we provide to them on a monthly basis. And then they're the ones who know these children, they know the families, they know the communities, and they know what that individual child needs most. And so they'll go out and say, for instance, Sarah needs a coat, and they'll get that for her, but Joshua does not, because he got one passed down from his big brother that's still in great shape, but he needs snow boots. Or this month we feel we're going to get the kids to have a great start to the school year by giving everyone a backpack stuffed with school supplies. So they can really target and tailor what they provide to the children depending on what those kids need the most.
That's
It
awesome.
might be a hygiene item. It might be an alarm clock. If you've got a kid who's really struggling with absenteeism or tardiness, then in some cases something that's that simple can really make the difference and turn the tide.
Okay, so your coordinator is working with someone at the school who identifies
our coordinator. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
our coordinator is collaborating with other people at the school. So she may get referrals from other teachers. She may get referrals from her principal. He may get a referral from the bus driver who's going out into the communities and seeing the circumstances in which the children are living. So they can get referrals from a variety of people at the school, and then they basically there's an application process, and they submit those applications to us and enroll them on our sponsorship program. And then back here at the headquarters on our end, we match those children up with our sponsors. And so they'll get something in the mail from us that has the child's picture and a little information about him or her, and where they can write and put their picture on the mantle or put their picture on the refrigerator and really feel like it's part of the family.
Wow, that's awesome. I didn't realize it was drilled down to human being contact.
Well, yeah, it is, because it's each child is only allowed to have one sponsor. And, of course, because these are children in public schools, we have to be very protective of the children. So we do not give out direct contact information on the children. We allow people to send notes to the coordinator at the school, which is then distributed to the child if they want to write. And then correspondence from the children back to their sponsors comes through our office, so that there are no direct addresses, phone numbers, or emails exchanged. But, yeah, it's a very, very much a one-on-one type operation.
Well, and I would imagine it's very gratifying because the child is getting a need filled, not through a big conglomerate. It's really a little bit more personal. And do you guys do it on the down low so as the other children don't know that this child is getting special treatment, or?
Yeah, and what happens is, like at each project level, the children, once they're identified as being a candidate for our program, these coordinators who manage the program, they keep the information pretty confidential. Some of the children, it's interesting, the younger children they're happy for people to know that they're on the program. They brag about it. They say, I have a sponsor, my sponsor sent me shoes, my sponsor sent me pants, etc. The older children, once they reach middle school and high school, they tend to be a lot more sensitive and reserved about it.
Sure.
Yeah. But, there's a level of confidentiality in a lot of this.
So most of these children do have a family that they're living with. They just need...
Oh, yeah, they all do.
Okay. Yeah, that's a little different than the one that I'm working with. These kids are all homeless, and then they just get to go to this place. But it's amazing how much... I guess I take it for granted. My daughters live with me, and they're teenagers. I do give them, I go to the bank and get money in $5 bills because I used to get it in 20s out of the ATM, and you do that 5 times and you're gone. All the money's gone. So my kids would always come up to me, Mom, can I have money? And I'm like, yeah, here's $5. Go get a burrito if you want to. But it takes a lot to raise kids with what they need. And I guess we take it for granted when we're doing all right, but the children do need help. And this organization, I'm thinking, I want to bring one to San Diego, because the kids can kind of get lost in the shuffle because we live in a nice part of the country. And I do know that they want to look like normal, kids who have families, but they don't. They want to have the backpack that looks like everybody else's backpack.
Oh, yeah.
They totally want to fit in.
They totally want to fit in. They'll do anything to fit in. And that's a tough way to grow up.
Yeah, it makes a difference, too, if they feel that they fit in. Because, if they stand out because their clothes are not the same or they don't have the same type of backpacks, that kind of ostracizes them from other people. So that's one of the things that our program does. We try to help the children to have shoes and clothes and backpacks and the same things that the children who can afford it have, so that they can go to school and feel normal and then hopefully function better.
And you know what? That's the key right there. If they don't have to worry about survival and sticking out as not having something, they're distracted during their classes. Emotionally and psychologically.
The security of having that sponsor helps them put their mind on their studies more, and they do tend to do better academically, and their attendance picks up. And there's all kinds of spillover effects that we hear about from our volunteer site coordinators. Will tell us that suddenly this child is blossoming, and he used to walk in the hallway and he wouldn't make eye contact, and his head would always be down. And we've matched him with a sponsor, and now he's gotten a birthday card, his first birthday card, and he's gotten a package, and he's gotten some new shoes, and he's gotten some jeans and T-shirts, and now he comes down the hallway, and his eyes are sparkling, and his hair is clean, and he's a different kid, and he has a sense of hope. And I think that that's one of the wonderful things that's intangible that sponsorship can provide these children. And on top of that sponsorship program, that really is our heart and our soul, we do offer additional assistance to our partner sites for larger scale needs that can benefit a number of children. So that can be anything from the mosquito nets overseas where there's a high rate of malaria.
Mm-hmm.
With something just so simple, we can protect lives and keep them healthy and keep them in school and make them focus better and learn better. And some of the other programs that we've been able to offer them are help with eyeglasses, extra help with shoes that can be so expensive. We've had a few sites that have said things like our PTA has been fundraising for a new piece of playground equipment for our little ones for the past 5.5 years, and we're still not there, and everyone's getting so discouraged. And, is there anything that you all might be able to do to help us? And so in some of those cases, we've been able to do things that help with healthy activity like a piece of playground equipment or better nutrition. We've helped with school gardens and school markets. And so it's this, again, the sponsorship is our bread and butter, but the Hope in Action program that we provide as well for disaster relief or for some of those larger scale needs in education and health. Sponsors can contribute to that, but we also have folks that don't want to sponsor for whatever reason. They might be business people and they don't have time to write, and they travel a lot perhaps for their work. They just want to help kids, and so they'll make a contribution that can go into our Hope in Action program and accomplish some of these larger needs. If there's a fire at an apartment complex and it's affected 2 of our families with a total of 7 children, and they've lost what meager possessions they've had, they're traumatized. And thanks to this Hope in Action support, all at once they can have those replacement warm blankets and replacement clothing and shoes again.
Wow. It's incredible. I mean, this organization really needs to get highlighted because I love the sponsorship program. How many, let's say a person comes to you and says, I want to sponsor a child. Would they sponsor more than one child? Or
there's a possibility, yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of people who only sponsor one, but we have people who sponsor as many as 50 or 100.
Oh, my.
Yeah, we have very loyal supporters. We have people, believe it or not, who've been supporting with this organization 40 to 45 years. And, they just love what they're doing with us.
And they see the children come into adulthood.
Right, yeah. And the incredible thing, too, is There's also a possibility, it's not really widespread right now, but there's a possibility that a child can actually go through our program, the child sponsorship program, and then if he or she is a candidate, go on to higher education and get funding from Children Incorporated to help with that. So, we've seen children stay in the program for their entire 12 years of elementary and high school, and then go on to a vocational program or to get a college degree.
Wow. It's really incredible. So how many kids in any given school in this country do you think, how many children do you have? Like, so if you isolate one school, would there be 1 to 8 kids, or just trying to get a feel for...
Yeah, I'll tell you, the best way for me to answer that would be to say we work in about 300 different projects, or at different project sites. That includes the U.S. and internationally. About half of those would be in the U.S., and the size of the actual project sites varies anywhere from 10, 15 to 50 or 100 kids. It just depends on the need in that immediate area and the availability of the coordinator to manage the caseload.
Okay.
The need's incredible. If we had enough staff and we had enough volunteer support, we could have hundreds of children in many different locations, but we're kind of limited because we do use a volunteer network.
Yeah, but it's very inspiring and motivating. Even for me, I'm thinking I would love to do something like this, to be hands-on and make a difference.
We'd love for you to. We would invite you to do that.
So what states are you in the U.S.? I'm just trying to...
Yeah, in the U.S., a large concentration of our work is in the Appalachian region. We have a big presence in eastern Kentucky, some sponsorships in West Virginia, in Virginia, parts of Virginia, including here in Richmond, we have work. Then we do work in some inner cities such as New Orleans, Detroit, Washington, D.C., and then we also work out in the Four Corners area, Arizona, New Mexico, where we do a lot of work with the Native American population. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And do you work in Mexico?
We do work in Mexico. We have projects in Mexico. Actually, a big concentration of our work is throughout Latin America. We're in most of the Central and Latin American countries. And then we have projects in Africa, India, Sri Lanka, South Korea, a number of different locations around the world.
And then do you have someone on staff that is really trying to just, I guess you have to have more than one person that works in the sponsorship program and with the coordinators, and then the partnership site, the partner sites, the Hope in Action. 50% of your time is trying to get more people to help you.
Yeah, and that's, the way we have it set up now, because I don't know if Renee mentioned it, but we have a small staff. We have 15 people on staff here in the Richmond office, and that's the scope of our paid employees. But then we have about 280 to 300 volunteers that work for us around the world, and they're unpaid. They just they manage the programs because they love what they're doing, and they want to help the children. But here in our office, we have 2 people that are over the U.S. programs, and they deal with our volunteer coordinator network. They enroll the children. They make sure that correspondence is logged, answer sponsor needs relating to the U.S. kids. And then we have 2 people that work in the international division, and they do the same for that division. So, it's a lot of work for a couple of people to do in each division, but we get it done. And also that's another thing. We try to visit all of our projects at least once every couple of years, so there's a lot of traveling involved.
I imagine. Wow. So what do you want people to know that they may not grasp when they read through your website? Anything that...
I think mainly I would say we want them to know we're a small organization. We do not spend a lot of money on advertising because we can't. We really can't. Our concentration is getting as much money as possible out to the children, out to the field, to change these children's lives. And, we rely a lot on word of mouth, people who share with their friends and their family, their good experiences with Children Incorporated. So, I would just like for people to know that we're here. We're an honest organization. Let me brag just a second. We have
Please.
a 4 out of 4 star rating with Charity Navigator, and we have an A grade with Charity Watch. We're a Gold Star organization with Better Business Bureau, Wise Giving Alliance, and also with I'm going blank on some of the other names. But yeah, we take that very seriously. So I would like for people to just know that we need sponsors. We need people to support us so that we can change children's lives.
And do you have corporate sponsors? Like you mentioned tennis shoes, like approaching someone, I don't know, Adidas, Nike, would they donate shoes or?
We haven't had a lot of that in the past. I'll tell you what happens, and this is an unfortunate thing. Because we are a small organization, it's hard for us sometimes to compete with the larger sponsorship organizations that have been around for so many years. Like, I'll give you an example. I'm not going to name names, but there's another organization, it's in our same town, who, they're like 10 times larger than us as far as their budget and their outreach. They can afford to do more. So if an organization is looking to partner, a lot of times they will go with the bigger organizations because the bigger organizations can then promote them a little more heavily. So, it's kind of a tit-for-tat type thing.
Yeah.
So it's difficult for us. It's really difficult for the smaller organizations to compete. But, I'm not saying that to grumble and complain because we keep on keeping on. We're determined that we're going to, keep making a difference.
Well, Renee's been believing in it for 33 years. That's awesome.
Renee's been here a long time, hasn't she? She has, and she's incredible.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. Ron Carter and Renee Kube of childrenincorporated.org. Fabulous organization. You can reach out to them, 800-538-5381. Or if you happen to be in Virginia, 804-359-4562. Again, childrenincorporated.org. Check out a new